Welcome to Stevens Get to Know broadcast, and I have a wonderful interview here coming up for you folks. This is really been a long time in the coming. Been looking forward to this. I have whom I consider to be a very good friend and one of my mentors by far, Evan Carmichael, here with me this evening. And so I want to tell you a little bit about Evan. He is such a dynamic guy. I've actually been listening to his videos for a couple years now. He is super dynamo, and he has motivated me to do a lot of the things that I do to this day, as a matter of fact. Um, so Evan believes in entrepreneurs. At 19 years old, he built and then sold a biotech company, and then biotech software company. And at 22, he got into venture capital company, and he was raising funds for companies from anywhere from $500,000 to as much as $15 million. Incredible. So now he runs, though, the biggest YouTube channel in the world. He's got over 2 million subscribers. I know that he's got about 180,000 followers as well on Instagram. And he's written 4 books. He speaks globally. And his whole purpose in life is to solve the world's biggest problem. And that is a lack of confidence in ourselves. And so he helps to build that confidence. And he's written a couple books, or like 4 of them already. And so, really without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce Evan Carmichael. Welcome, Evan.
Thanks a lot, Stephen. Good to be here.
Yes, I'm very pleased that you're with us today. So, boy, he's done a lot of stuff dynamically. I just tell you, I've listened to so many of his videos and I've learned so much. The reason why we have this show is to introduce people that are making a positive impact in society today. And Evan, 100%, you are making a positive impact. You have motivated so many people. And I want you to tell us, though, you decided at a younger age to get out of the software company, to sell out of that. You got into venture capitalism. You were helping people raise funds. And now you built the biggest YouTube channel going on out there. Why did you do that? What prompted you to decide to change and leave something that I guess was working pretty well for you, but you decided to do something different?
So in all honesty, I didn't want to sell the software company.
Oh, there we are.
So I had 2 business partners. And as you build companies in different industries, what you realize is every industry goes through expansion and contraction, expansion and contraction. And so what was happening in our industry was consolidation, which meant a lot of the big companies were coming in and buying up a lot of the small companies. And so it was going from having lots of little players to then, 3, 4, 5 big players. And then what ends up happening in the industry is then after a couple of years of 3, 4, 5 big players, there's a lot more innovation, and then you get lots of little companies again. And the industries go through these cycles. And so we were going through the cycle of consolidation where big companies were buying up little companies. I had a little company. I wasn't the giant company at the time. And my business partners wanted to sell. And part of the motivation was being able to move to California because I'm Canadian, born in Toronto, Canada, and we can't just go to the US
Right.
and live there. So they wanted to move to California. And it was this decision to either do it now or the next time this might happen where this wave of consolidation might be in another 8 years. And so they didn't want to wait that long. I wanted to ride this out. I saw a huge opportunity in the business, lots of growth, anyway, I didn't want to get in the way of my partners enjoying their life. And so it became much more about a personal decision than anything else. And so we sold. They went with the company to California. I stayed here in Toronto and honestly didn't know what to do next. I didn't have a vision mapped out for myself. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I joined the venture capital company because I was always curious about raising capital. We never had to. We got bought. So we sold our company before we had to raise capital, but we were in talks to potentially raise capital. It's either go raise capital and build this big company or get acquired now. And so those were our decisions. So we went get acquired. And so because I was curious about raising capital, I bounced around a bunch of things, but then I ended up hooking up with a venture capital company just for my own interest in education. So yeah, great first question. I don't know that I've been asked that before.
Okay, excellent.
We're
I
getting to know
love
me, right?
firsts.
That's the whole theme.
That's the whole idea, is to get to know, the decisions that you made that have put you in where you are right now in your position. I know that you kind of have referred to yourself in the past as an introvert, and somebody that that wanted to keep to themselves to a great degree, and yet you're such a huge public figure. How does that work for you?
So I still am an introvert.
Oh.
Um, Even now, I think when you figure out your mission, it demands that you step out of your comfort zone and play a bigger game. I think I always thought of being an introvert as a negative, but I've turned it into a strength in that I think if you're an introvert, you're a great listener. If you're an introvert, you don't need to be the center of attention. And so you could put the mission, your purpose, as the center of attention. It has held me back in the past in terms of willingness to share my story. I always felt, why would you want to hear my story when I'm profiling Steve Jobs or, giant people? Like, what did I
Hmm.
do? Sure, I sold my first business, but it's nothing compared to what all these other people have done. And so, going on stage still makes me nervous, gives me anxiety. All the next big things that I want to do are scary, and I think that's good. I think it should be scary. So I'm an introvert. Networking events give me stress, and yet I get up every day and I go off and pursue my mission.
Well, that's part of it too, is that you talk about, stepping out of that area of fear that we have, and overcoming that fear so that we can go out there and achieve the dreams that we want, instead of limiting ourselves and saying, well, I don't think I can do that. And so I think that what you do a lot is to ask people to stretch stretch their limits, and step outside that box, and face their fears head on. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I think uh, self-love comes from doing difficult things. I think the big problem that people face is they don't have enough self-love, self-confidence, self-belief, self-respect,
Hmm.
because they're not doing enough things that make them proud of what they're doing. So I've got a new book coming out. It's called Built to Serve.
Hmm.
It's right here, Built to Serve.
Hmm. That's
And
awesome.
I think humans are built to serve. You want to serve others. You want to help others. Your purpose comes from your pain. Whatever you struggled the most with, you want to help other people through. But because we're afraid of judgment, and because we're afraid of not being perfect, and because we're afraid of what people will say about us, we're not afraid of failing. We're afraid of failing in
Hmm.
front of other people. So because we have that judgment, this becomes the challenge of that. You want to help others. You're built to serve. Every human, even if you're introverted, wants to serve,
Hmm.
but you're afraid of judgment and failing in front of others. So those two don't mesh well together. Because if you want to go off and help somebody, it requires somebody else. But if you're worried about their judging of you, then you don't do it. And so you have your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time, knowing that you're capable of more, but not moving because you have that fear. And so what I've tried to teach myself, and then now because it's worked, I try to teach other people, is as soon as you feel yourself being afraid of something, then you have to go off and do it, just because, and expect to suck and expect to fail. Now, I'm sure when you first did your first live stream of showing the sunrise in Florida,
Hmm.
it was awkward and you were nervous and you didn't know what to do. Like, that's part of the
and I
process,
and
that
I
it
can
should
still be
be.
nervous too. I can. Absolutely.
Listen, if you have nothing in your life that makes you nervous, you hate your life. It means you're just waking up and doing the same thing every single day.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so it's being able to recognize that it's making you nervous and not give yourself an out, and not give yourself a logical reason. You could have not done it. You could have said, well, I don't want to wake up that early, or, well, I don't know how to use Facebook or Instagram, or I don't know how to use these technologies, right? You could have had a million reasons, and they're all true.
Hmm.
But really the deep down reason is you're just afraid. And you, me, everybody, you're just afraid. And so trying to recognize that and then step through it. And then once you do it, it's not as difficult to go off and do again. And for me, having the purpose, knowing that I'm here, I'm built to serve, and so are you, and so is everybody listening, watching,
Right.
hopefully gives you the strength to push through and say, I'm capable.
Yes, and see, that's what I did too. Is that part of my routine was getting up. I get up early, but listening to your motivational and inspirational videos and learning from some of the most, influential people in the world, that you've interviewed, and you've compiled information on them. And I've seen the transformation actually in yourself, going from that to you being the person that's out there, in a real personal manner, helping people. Now you've got this new book. I'm really looking forward to that coming out. I'm really excited about getting my copy. I know, it's so awesome. And I do agree, we are built to serve. And so with respect to that, you put together a Facebook group, and there's an opportunity for people to reach out like I did, and got involved in that Facebook group, and you're interacting with us and giving us your advice. And I just find that so dynamic. And so and that's in a big way, a big pay it forward, I think, for the community, honestly, is to share that wealth of knowledge, with us. Absolutely.
Yeah, so the book is in pre-order right now. It comes out March 17th. I don't know when you're releasing, this video, but probably before March 17th. So
yes,
as a part of the process is anybody who pre-orders the book also gets access to a private Facebook group where I'm there, my team is there, other amazing entrepreneurs who are built to serve and have a purpose are there, and we do regular sessions together. In that, before the launch, it's once a week. After the book comes out, it's going to move to once a month. So there's a bonus to pre-ordering, so you get involved. But I think a lot of people, they don't have other people to talk to about their crazy ideas. You talk about your purpose to your friends and your family, and they're like, what? People they don't get it. Most
Right.
people are so locked into their life, and they almost gave up. Like, a lot of people have just kind of given up and resigned themselves to the life that they have, as opposed to trying to go off and create something different. People might look at you and say, you're gonna what? You're gonna wake up before the sun comes out and live stream the sunrise with a meditation? Are you crazy, Steven? Right? Like, it's
Yeah.
and everybody has those, those kinds of ambitions and dreams, but chances are the people around you don't really understand what you're doing. They may be supportive, they may not be, but they don't know how to kind of give you advice. And so the point of having the group too is to have this community, the global community of people who are all trying to pursue their mission, their purpose, have an impact, and not in an entrepreneurial way. And so you learn from me, my team, but also just the motivation to be around like-minded people.
It's a community in that group. I know that it is, and we all support each other. And I know that I put videos in there and gotten excellent feedback as a result of that. And that is part of it, is surrounding yourself with the people that you want to be like. And so that's what I did a couple of years ago. And that's why I'm following you, because you're the kind of people that I like to learn from and want to be around. I want you to tell our viewers about Believe, because we believe, and how you came up with Believe Nation, and that is your one word, and that was your previous book, correct?
Yeah, so my first book is your one word. It's down here. The idea is you have a single most important core value. Yes. When you understand what that is, it allows you to live a life with a lot more focus and purpose. So my most important core value is Believe. And when you figure that out, and the book guides you through it, but really just think about all of the best moments in your life. What is a common theme throughout them? So what's your favorite movie and why? What's your favorite book and why? Which person do you, if you're watching a video, who would you want to learn from and why? What is it about them? What did you love about your parents? All of these things. There's a common thread between all the things that make it come alive. When you figure that out, you can now design a life with a lot more intent than just hoping good things happen to you. So Believe is a through line for me, and all of the content that I do, even this interview, I'm trying to bring more belief. I may not do it, but it's always my intention. It's always my goal.
Exactly. And my one word being empowerment, between the believing in yourself, like you're talking about, and the empowerment, the taking action part of it. That's what it's really about.
Yeah.
Because, I say this, everything starts with this thought, but we have to take that thought and we actually have to have an action plan. And the more, not to spend a lot of time on the action plan, because we can get caught with that. and spending too much time in the planning than the doing, because it might create a situation where, oh, well, oh, that's right, I can't do that. And so you have to get rid of those self-limiting thoughts. Now, what would you tell the listeners if they were thinking about, starting their own business and getting involved in something that they're passionate about? And like you said, you talked about that a platform can be found, our strength can be found from our most difficult situations that we experience. What recommendations, what advice would you give the viewers about starting their own business?
So being an entrepreneur, being in business is really just about giving people value. The more value you can provide people, the more money you're going to make. You have been through a struggle. People listening, watching, right? And the point of the book, Built to Serve, is to help you figure out what your purpose is, but then also to turn it into a business that you can serve other people through and also make money. I think a lot of people, even when they find their purpose, they struggle because it becomes this part-time hobby that they're doing in the evenings and weekends because they can't figure out how to make money doing it. And so you have some job that you may find is okay, or you may absolutely hate, and you're doing your purpose on the evenings and weekends. I think if you found it, you have a responsibility to turn that into something that can make you money so you can do it full time and then bring on a team of people. Because imagine if you had a company that you're now building and you got 5, 10, 100 people in your business, all doing something that's going to help build this purpose up versus you just working evenings and weekends part-time doing it, the impact that you're going to have is going to be much greater. So whatever problem that you went through, who you used to be, you've come through a battle, you've come through a war, you've grown a lot in the past X number of years from when you were at your lowest low. You're not done growing. There's still a lot more that you have to go and do, but you've come through a lot. There's a lot of people who currently are what you used to be. There's a lot of people who are currently suffering with what you really suffered with. They need help. It's your purpose to help them. And if you help them solve the problem, you should get paid to do it. So then you can help more people and you can bring on a team and help even more people. Right?
Exactly.
So that's the concept. Not everybody necessarily needs to go off and be an entrepreneur, but it's designed around people who are entrepreneurial minded so that you could turn your purpose into something that makes you money as well.
Well, I think so many people do think about getting into their own business and being their own boss, but not everybody is necessarily cut out to do that because it does take a lot of planning, and more than that, it takes a good team. It takes a really good team to be able to do that. Now, you've got quite a good team surrounding you. I know that. I've gotten to know a few of them as well. It's really awesome. The community part, I think, is an important factor. Now, I've been slowly working at developing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm truly honored and humbled that you are here with me doing this interview. This is really awesome, and I appreciate that. Because I'm looking towards, I know that I'm built to serve. I'm looking towards helping, like you said, because I'm going to use your dreaming big concept of millions of people. I want to help millions of people find it within themselves to actually release that self-limiting thinking, to learn to love themselves and then take action on their dreams and goals and make their life a higher quality. And because of it, I've been blessed. I mean, it started a few years ago, but now I've got a foundation that's a nonprofit that we're going to try and be this resource for people, and then help those people that want to help themselves. That's the key part. They got to want to help themselves. Now, I want to also mention this. The viewers might notice that there's a Doritos bag right there.
Yeah.
Right there. And that Doritos bag is always in the videos. And the other thing I'll mention is that he always stands up and he's on a trampoline. I'm almost certain of it right now.
Yeah. I gotta hold myself on the desk when I do interviews like this because it'd be pretty. This is my computer in front of me here, and I'm usually like just bouncing around all day while I'm typing. So when I'm doing interviews, I usually hold on to the desk so that I don't distract the viewers because like, what is wrong with this guy? But when you're on I believe movement is medicine, and when you're on a trampoline, you can't help but move, as opposed to what most people do is sit down all day, and which is really bad for you. So I love the trampoline. It started as an experiment. The stand-up desk started as an experiment, but then transitioned to the trampoline desk. The Doritos bag, I want to eat those all the time.
Right.
People who are fans of my channel keep asking me, are you like, is Doritos sponsoring your videos? Like, they're not sponsoring me. I don't have any contacts there.
They should.
Yeah, well, maybe not, because my strategy is called "Damn the Doritos," not
This
go
is
buy.
true.
I don't know if they want to be a part of that. Maybe Doritos, whoever their biggest competitor, might sponsor me. But it's called "Damn the Doritos" because I want to eat these all day long. And back to our initial discussion at the top, we're talking about
Yes.
self-love,
Yes.
self-belief comes from doing difficult things. That to me is really difficult. Having this here is really difficult. So when people are on a diet or trying to get healthy, the common advice is get rid of the junk food from your house. And I think that's a good first step. I think it's a crutch. Yes. Like, if you break your leg, you're going to be on crutches for a little bit, but your ultimate goal should be to walk again, to not be on crutches for the rest of your life. So for people who then get rid of junk food from their house, as soon as they go on a vacation or office party or something, they're just eating all of the junk. Right. Because you've taught yourself that you can't handle it unless you're in the perfect environment. And so I want to, at least for myself, for some people, I'm starting to hook more people into it. I think it's really crazy. I think it's really effective, but it's a very weird, crazy strategy. So even the thought that I can't handle being around Doritos destroys me. And so I need to show myself that I'm capable of it. And so I have it right here in front of me. So it's here all day long, every day. And it's been fun to watch other people do it. I don't prescribe it necessarily as advice yet, because you have to be like really ambitious and really ready to break your limiting beliefs. And most people aren't. But I had a guy who's Leron, good friend, who was trying to cut sugar out of his daily diet, no sugar. Right. And he loves sugar in his coffee. That was his thing, like morning coffee, cream and sugar. And he wants to get rid of the sugar. So he has this, he took a picture, posted on Twitter, where he's got like this, he's got a cup, and I've got, shout out to Florida, I got my Disney cup here.
Yes.
So he's got, I know you're not in Orlando, but it's still Florida.
Yeah, it is. Happiest place on earth anyways.
He's got his cup and he's got his saucer underneath, right, for his coffee. And then he'll take 2 packs of sugar and put it next to the coffee cup on the saucer and just leave it there and not open it. And then just pick up his coffee, drink it, and put it down. And his wife thinks he's crazy, right? But I can't tell you the feeling of when you see the thing that you really want to do, you really want to eat it, and you know you don't actually want, it's not good for your health, but it's right there in front of you, and you look at it and then you put it down. It's such a high. People will bring me Doritos, and if they're eating it at a party or something, I'll take the bag. Like, I'll take this bag, right? Like, if this was open, right, somebody had it, I'll take the bag and I'll bring it right next to my face and just go. Just take like the biggest, most luxurious smell in, and just imagine in my mouth, I'm like drooling I just, and then I look at the bag, open my eyes, and I put it right back down.
That's excellent.
And the high that you get of self-confidence to know that you're stronger than, because damn the Doritos, I'm stronger than the Doritos. Yeah. And to do that for your thing. A friend of mine, Mark Drager, he's been on we have a podcast together. His vice is the Peak Freen cookies, where it's like the raspberry inside and the layer of cream. And so he did that. I said, Mark, here's what you need to do. Go buy like 8 boxes of Peak Freen cookies, 8 boxes, and then and bring them to the office and stack them on your desk, and then open one and just breathe in the essence of those cookies, and then put it down and walk away, and just know, and then celebrate that you did that. Like this thing that used to own you, you just did that. And so that's maybe a super foreign concept for a lot of people, and is a very weird duck strategy. But you build your self-belief, self-respect, self-love by doing difficult things like that.
Exactly. And it's born out of routine, is it not?
I think yes. Like, definitely identifying the things that make you nervous, scared, afraid. And as soon as you can, most of the time it's just subconscious. Most of the time you don't even notice it. But turning that into a routine where you say, as soon as I feel anxiety, nervousness, fear, especially when it's somebody else's opinion too, then teach yourself you have to go off and do that thing just because.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you've got a very busy schedule, and I want to say thank you so very much for taking time to join us. Have you got any, just, I'll give you the last few minutes or whatever amount of time you want to share with us.
First,
Share
I
some
want to know
wisdom.
what's written on the board behind you. This is
I
awesome,
know.
colorful fish. I love the fish, but I can't read what's behind you. So
I
what does
know
that say?
it's terrible that it reverses it. It says normal is just a setting on the washing machine.
I like that.
That's what it says.
I like it. It
Normal
doesn't
is.
reverse it. I can see it.
Oh, can you see it properly
Yeah,
there?
yeah. It's
I'm
just
seeing.
it's not bold enough, or my eyes
Yeah.
aren't good enough to be able to
Norm,
actually to read it. But
normal is just a setting on the washing machine. You know,
yeah,
I consider. Yeah, you say crazy. Yeah, I guess I am in a lot of ways. But you know what? I'm willing to take risks, and that's the thing.
and listen, and that's a great final message, right? Like
Yes.
normal is just a setting on a washing machine. You don't want to be normal. You don't want to be normal. Nobody watching this actually
Right.
wants to be normal. The problem
Exactly.
is you're afraid of not fitting in. You're afraid of being rejected. You're afraid of being judged. But if you want an abnormal life, if you want to be unique, that requires other people who also hate their life, they're going to have some judgment against you. And so it's hard to see on a day-to-day basis, but imagine your life in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. If your life is exactly the same, if you're still normal in 10 years, how painful is that? It should be massively painful. Like if you're just photocopying your day every day,
Mhm.
on a day-to-day basis, it may not be that bad, but imagine 10 years of the same thing, of the same normal life, knowing that you're capable of more, but being
Mhm.
too afraid to act. And 10 years worth of that should be so painful that it pushes you to go off and do something. Whether it's have Doritos, in your office, whether it's wake up in sunrise and do a meditation, like whatever the crazy thing is that you have in mind, to teach yourself that you do crazy things, that you love difficult things, and you're going to take action immediately on it and feel empowered.
Excellent. Thank you so very much. So you have yourself a great day. Thank you. I appreciate you. God bless you, Evan, and have a wonderful day, huh?
Thanks, Stephen. Much
Uh,
love, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.